Let's start off in the nation's capital, where the Supreme Court has adjourned for judgment in the suit filed by Kogi State challenging the constitutionality of the laws establishing the EFCC, ICPC, and the Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit. 15 other states were allowed by the court as co-plaintiffs in the suit after they filed an application for joiner. At the resumed sitting, Anambra, Adamawa, and Ebonyi states withdrew from the case. A 7-member panel of justices led by Justice Uwani Abba-Aji struck out their names of the names of the states after they applied to withdraw from the suit. Through their respective states, Attorney General's counsel to Kogi State, Abdul-Wahab Mohammed, in arguing his origination motion, told the court that it was the United Nations Convention Against Corruption that was reduced into the EFCC Act. In his preliminary objection, the Attorney General of the Federation, Lateef Fagbemi, argued that Section 15, subsection 5 of the Constitution should take precedence. And TVC's judiciary correspondent, Celestina Ira, joins me from the Supreme Court in Abuja. Thanks so much for joining us, Celestina. The Supreme Court now reserving judgment in the suit challenging the establishment of the EFCC and the ICPC. What does this mean legally, and what can we expect moving forward?
The bills to be communicated to parties as well as the constitutional matter.
All right, I will talk to Celestina as soon as we're able to reestablish connectivity with her. Moving on to other stories, we're staying with the developments in Jigawa State, and it's 1 week after the tanker explosion, which killed about 180 persons and several others still receiving treatment. The State Executive Council has approved 60 million naira for food items to be distributed to the families of the victims. Presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, who visited the state, emphasized the need for tanker drivers to exercise caution to avert a recurrence.
This is quite big. So, and alhamdulillah, we thank God that whatever happens is from Allah, and we have accepted it.
The Council has approved, in line with the state government's swift action to support the victims of the recent tanker explosion incident at Majia Town. The Council has approved the sum of 60 million naira. 60 million naira only for the procurement of food items: rice 25 kg, millet 10 kg, maize 10 kg, and 1 carton of spaghetti.
The tanker drivers drive with every care, knowing that what they are carrying, if anything goes wrong, is a very huge disaster. We need to care about the poor people in our society more. Governance is about the poor. We need to care more about them.
Now let's take you back to our earlier story, where the Supreme Court has now reserved judgment in the suit challenging the establishment of the EFCC and the ICPC. Celestina, thank you so much for joining us again from Abuja. As I asked a little earlier, what does this mean legally, and what can we expect, from this moving forward?
Ibrahim, what it means is that the courts will deliver judgment or will give a date to parties when the judgment is ready. So it is for them to go to their respective chambers to look at the issues raised and the relief taken by the plaintiff, and also the preliminary objection raised by the Attorney General of the Federation. Of course, it is a constitutional matter, so they have to take their time, go through it, and come up with the judgment. So when judgment is ready, the date will be communicated to parties.
Interesting. So with Anambra, Ebonyi, Adamawa withdrawing from the case challenging the EFCC's constitutionality, were there any reasons given for this action at this stage, or was it political, legal, or other external pressures?
Okay, well, we didn't get to hear the reasons filed in their motion seeking to withdraw from the case, because they just moved it, they did not endumbrate on it. But as they were leaving, some other states were joining or sought to join, or shown an Ekiti state, got an application seeking to consolidate their own suits at the court with that of Kogi and other plaintiffs. But the court said that at the time, at this particular time, those states could not be consolidated, but their own case will be taken singly, and when the judgment is delivered, probably it will abide with theirs. So the reason for them leaving, political or whatever, we don't know because it wasn't given in the court today.
Definitely, we'll continue to read reactions to this. But then, given the constitutional questions raised as a result of this, could this case, whether successful or not, establish new legal precedents regarding the powers of the federal agencies like the EFCC and the ICPC?
Oh, well, one thing is for a fact that we know that it was the UN Convention Against Corruption that brought about the establishment of the EFCC, and that is what the plaintiffs are anchoring their case on, that Section 12 of the Constitution was not followed, that convention ought to be ratified by the State Houses of Assembly before that law was reduced to the EFCC Act. So they are challenging the constitutionality of the EFCC because, according to the plaintiff, they started a case decided by the Supreme Court when the then former Attorney General of the Federation, Anambra Gavi, was the one that brought the issue, was a party in the matter in court. But the AG today, the Attorney General of the Federation, as he said that the plaintiff should not anchor their case solely on Section 12, which is ratification, but it is way bigger than that. They should look at Section 60 of Section 5 that says that corruption should be controlled in the country. And if you look at it holistically, if the Supreme Court should decide one way or the other, or decide that the EFCC is an illegal entity, it will raise questions as to the activities they have done in the time past since they were established, from the seizure of assets to the persecution of persons. All those people will come to court to challenge on the grounds that it's one of the illegal establishments that prosecuted him. So it has a lot of ripple effects that the Supreme Court will have to look at before they deliver their judgment.
Interesting developments. TVC's judiciary correspondent, Celestina Area, live for us from the Supreme Court in Abuja. Thank you so much for your insight. Thank you.